Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, we are from Group 8 and we are advocating for a specific area of psychology's career portfolio. We decided on environmental psychology as we believe that the population of humans increases rapidly. These group members are Fadila, Aufa, me, Khairuni, Safia and also Hidayah. Are any of you curious about the meaning of environmental psychology? According to the American Psychological Association, APA, environmental psychologists are often researchers who investigate how people work with and respond to the world around them. Their research might ask why some people choose to recycle, what motivates people to adopt environmentally positive behaviors, and why certain surroundings make people feel happy and productive. Next is the environmental psychologist's job specifications and functions. Environmental psychologists work closely with nature. Research the psychology of climate change or the motivations behind it helps in altering environmentally harmful behavior. They are also responsible for changing people's behavior to reverse environmental problems. For example, suggesting recycling and communal works to be practiced. Secondly, to study the impact of the environment. Environmental psychologists work closely with the disciplines of architecture and geography to ensure a correct representation of the physical spatial components of human-environment relationships. They also modify specific behavior to fit specific environmental conditions. For instance, tsunamis can bring emotional and psychological damage to the victims, and the environmental psychologists are responsible to study about the effect and suggest prevention steps or ways to overcome. Lastly, environmental psychologists are responsible for conducting research and analysis. After conducting studies and analyzing data, they are required to communicate their findings to the people who make the decisions and set policy within a company or an organization such as the government or NGOs. Environmental psychologists are also responsible to report on findings of how the environment affects human attitudes and behaviors either individually or as a population, like how flash floods can harm people physically and mentally. They report on findings of how human attitudes and behavior can impact the environment, such as littering that could lead to air pollution. The academic and training requirements to be an environmental psychologist is obtaining an undergraduate degree in psychology. Graduate certification allows you to convert your current bachelor degree in another subject to one in environmental psychology, which requires only a year. Next, get a master's degree in environmental psychology. It is heavily skewed towards theory and philosophy, but you will get a chance to do some hands-on work as well. And the last one is earning a doctoral degree. It is virtually required if you hope to have a career in teaching. Have you ever wondered how much an environmental psychologist makes per year? According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, jobs in psychology are increasing at a rate of 8%, which is about the national average. Your salary as an environmental psychologist will be determined by your location, depending on where you work and the nature of your job. Now, let's talk about the comparison of the availability on the position of environmental psychologists in Malaysia to the other countries. According to the data from the US Census Bureau, the highest percentage, 83% of psychologists in the US identified as white. For Asians, there are only 4% of people who work as psychologists in the US. In a study in France, psychosocial aspects must be considered when attempting to reduce pesticide use among farmers. A study in Australia used psychology to promote more sustainable water management. In Indonesia, a study of the impact of green open space in public higher education towards the levels of work stress in lecturers has been done. They found out that the lecturers at the university with more green open spaces experienced less work stress than lecturers at another university. Unfortunately, the information regarding the availability of jobs in Malaysia has not been taken into account. Why? The first justification is that environmental psychology is an interdisciplinary field. It lacks a distinct viewpoint or aim. Secondly, it is challenging to understand how human behavior affects the climate and how it is changing. Thirdly, ecologists, environmental consultants, biologists, and other environmental specialists have a greater chance of being consulted in natural disasters. Fourth, the significance of environmental psychology is not widely recognized. Why is this position needed? Based on the previous slides about the research in France, Australia, and Indonesia, the environmental psychologist position is very significant and seriously needs to be created widely. The example that can be taken is the room layout of the hostel under concession at University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, UPSI. There are some rooms in the students' residence that consist of 3 students in one room instead of 2 students in a room. This situation can cause a stressful environment, and there is also a high probability that the students will have mental health issues. Therefore, the responsible parties should resolve the problem by conducting environmental psychology research on the students and the environment. Few people are aware of this position, not just in Malaysia, but in some other countries as well. The statistics below for the study of psychologists in 2015 in the US and 2021 in Australia show that there are no positions listed for environmental psychology so far. The newspaper article below shows that a natural disaster can lead to psychological issues in humans. More Malaysians will be dealing with mental illnesses like depression and anxiety by the year 2020. Compared to the global average of 53%, Malaysians experience a higher than average level of stress at 63%. The importance of having environmental psychologists in Malaysia can give a better psychological state to the Malaysian population by reducing the percentage of people with mental health issues. Second, examine how individuals respond to technological and environmental hazards, and how loneliness and stress are impacted by various environments, including homes, office, and cities. Thirdly, concentrate their efforts on developing a deeper understanding of how human behavior affects our world. For example, by recommending productivity-boosting strategies. Finally, work for consulting firms to provide their expertise to government agencies and industry. For instance, they might examine a store to determine how to entice customers to buy more merchandise. Environmental psychologists have a lot to offer the Malaysian population, but we'll just place more emphasis on these two things: design landscape and architecture, and the second one is environmental stressor. The environmental psychologist can collaborate with an interior designer, urban or town planner to share ideas, make suggestions, and help create a congenial environment through home decor and town planning. First of all, they can create botanical gardens with lush flora, colorful plants, and flowers to view. This will help people to restore their vitality and sense of peace, as plants can improve oxygen levels and air quality. Also, simply looking at them can be soothing and healing. Thus, taking care of plants can develop into a hobby that helps to relax. However, have ample natural light, warm, and mellow lighting fixtures for their calming effects. Also, use large open spaces with good ventilation. If you live in a small apartment, you can opt for an open layout that has fewer partition walls and gives the room the appearance of being larger. This is important as it will have calming effects and help reduce anxiety symptoms and the sensation of suffocation during a panic attack. Last but not least, add soothing elements by placing items that can calm various senses, such as a wind chime sound and also essential oil scents to encourage calming thoughts and help you feel less stressed. An environmental psychologist's second contribution is related to the environmental stressor, running in an urban environment with greenery views. Second, plan a room layout at a school or university hostel that allows for privacy while studying and sleeping. In conclusion, environmental psychologists have few job opportunities all around the world. Environmental psychologists can be very useful in Malaysia. Environmental psychologist job opportunities should be expanded to assist in lowering suicide rates in Malaysia and enhancing the environment to increase the efficiency of working or studying. That's all from our group. Thank you.